Ben Burton Diaz, Matty Cash, Brennan Johnson, Dale Taylor. They all came through the Nigel Dougherty Academy. And now look at them, playing international football for their country. I think that's confirmation that Nottingham Forest are the greatest team in the world. We're that big that we can even make players play for their country before they've even played for their club. Dale Taylor's not even played for Forest, and he's made his debut for Northern Ireland at 17 years old. That's how big we are. Ignore the fact it's Northern Ireland and their striking options are about as strong as Derby's survival hopes this season. But I want to talk about one of those players in particular today, Matty Cash. He is one of my favourite players to have ever played for Forest, and sometimes a player leaves your club and you don't really want anything to do with them, but that certainly ain't the case with Cashy. I was really happy to see him make his international debut for Poland, and I'm really happy to see him making the Premier League football look easy. If you enjoy these player profile videos, then please drop a like on it, subscribe to the channel, and follow my Twitter and Instagram because I'm nearly at 400 followers on Twitter, and I'd really like to get there. Thank you. Cheers. Now, he started out in the Youth Academy of Wycombe Wanderers. He would also play for FAB Footballing Academy, and in 2016, all that got him interested by Nottingham Forest. And pretty much straight away, he'll be loaned out to Dagenham and Redbridge in League 2, where he would make 12 appearances, scoring 3 goals in a 1-month loan deal. Clear to see already that Cash was quite a up-and-coming, exciting player. He was quite a fast, energetic, skillful player to watch on the right wing. And when he made his debut for Forest in the 2016-17 season against Burton Albion, he would go on to make 5 appearances before he'd get injured for 3 months. So that really wasn't the most ideal start to his Forest career. It would be a fracture to his tibia that would keep him out for those 3 months, and he'd return in November in a 5-2 victory away at Barnsley. Despite his injury, he was already attracting interest from much bigger clubs, i.e. Chelsea and German newcomers RB Leipzig, because at the time, Leipzig were very new to the Bundesliga, and of course now, they are one of the best teams in Germany. Those deals were worth up to £5 million each, but thankfully for Forest, Cash would sign a new deal, keeping him at the club until 2021. Unfortunately, he stayed a year less than that, but we'll ignore it. Sadly, it'll be a similar story for Cash at the start of the next season, getting a 3-month injury, and eventually when he did come back, he would end up scoring 2 goals that season, in a 5-2 victory away at QPR and a 2-0 win at home to Birmingham, both back-to-back games as well, and had helped Forest achieve a 17th place finish. The next season, he had continued to impress again, this time scoring 6 goals, getting 2 assists, and the most noticeable goal for me was his goal against Aston Villa, because that'll be the club that ended up scoring against, and really what makes it so memorable is the fact that he did this to the Holt End. Yeah, that aged quite well, because they're now the fans that you play for every week, and you shush them after scoring a goal. He also scored twice away to Norwich on Boxing Day in a game that I really don't want to have to talk about because that gave me Christmas nightmares, that did. It ruined my Christmas. On Boxing Day, a 3-3 draw away at Carrow Road, and yeah, we're 3 up with 20 to go and we drew. And thankfully, looking at the good side of that game, Cash scored 2 great goals. Forest would end up coming 9th that season and would sack Martin O'Neill as a result, and would appoint Sabri Lamucci. And this would end up being quite a crucial moment for Matty Cash's career. Because in the 2019-20 season, which would ultimately end up being his final season at the City Ground, he would be converted into a right back, and this was mainly down to an injury issue, really, at right back, given the fact we had Tendai Derinkwa out for essentially the entire season, and he had been out for quite a while already. We also had Carl Jenkinson, who had just signed for us, get a long-term injury, so we basically had no right back. So we had to rely on Matty Cash to convert to a completely different position and role. And Cash wasn't really a big fan of this at first. He didn't really want to do it, but he since said, and can you blame him, because it worked with flying colours, that he really enjoys playing at right back now, because he couldn't have made the transition look any better. And in fact, in his first competitive game as a right back against West Brom, on the first day of the season of course, he'd end up scoring after 11 minutes, putting Forest 1-0 up, the perfect start.
Cash will take it on, and Cash will find the bottom corner.
But unfortunately, Aaron Muric was in goal ahead of Bruce Samba that day, so that meant that we lost. The only other 2 goals that he would score that season would be a solo goal and a 2-1 defeat to Hull at home. Quite a disappointing result, but it was a good goal from him. And then also in the other game away at West Brom, which ended up being quite a impressive result really, even though we didn't win it, of course. And yeah, the refs robbed us for the millionth time, and have done so many times since.
Another terrible ref in the AFL Championship.
He scored a 90th minute equaliser in that game where, yeah, that was absolute scenes in the away end. Prior to that goal, there was plenty of interest in Cash, of course. Yet again, we've already mentioned Chelsea and Leipzig a few years back, but particularly from the teams like Italian side AC Milan. Better not say that with that Inter shirt there. Also, Everton were interested, West Ham were interested. There was plenty of clubs interested in Matty Cash, and no surprise. He would win the Player of the Year award that season at Forest, and unfortunately the final 7 games of his time at the City Ground would be played behind closed doors due to the COVID-19 pandemic, of course, and his last game would be a game that will haunt Forest fans forever. Let's just say that. So of course, after a collapse like that, there was plenty of interest in Forest's best players, not just Cashy, but also the likes of Joe Wall, Lewis Graben, Thiago Silva, Ben Watson, the list goes on. A lot of players were linked with a move away. Unfortunately, we did lose Silva, Watson, and of course Matty Cash. And it would be Aston Villa that won the battle to sign him, beating the likes of Sheffield United, Fulham, Everton, and again, of course, AC Milan and West Ham. There was plenty of clubs interested in him, but Aston Villa were the team that won his signature. For a fee of £16 million, which quite frankly I think is a bit of a bargain from Villa. I think we should have got more than that. 20, 25 at the very least. And sometimes it takes players time to adapt to a new division, especially the Premier League, because it is such a highly competitive, tough league. It's even harder, arguably, than the Championship. But Cashy made the step up look so straightforward, and he still does now. You'd never think that he's only in his 2nd season in Premier League football today. He would make 28 appearances, scoring twice at Villa Park this season. Even though there was no fans in the stands, he was very, very much appreciated by the Villa faithful, and even Forest fans were very happy to see just how well he was doing. He was finally getting a lot of overdue respect and attention, because this guy clearly had big talent. And of course, to the present season, Cash would finally score his first goal for Villa in a 3-0 win at home to Everton. But it's time we talk about the main motive for this entire video, Poland. This was a topic actually that goes back to his time at Forest. His final season at Forest, there were little reports and rumours that maybe he might play for Poland one day, and there was at least rumours that yeah, he's eligible to play for Poland. And honestly, no offence to Poland at all here, but I think if he was still in the Championship, this probably would have happened, because of course he's got better since he was at Forest. He is a much better player now. The Premier League has clearly improved him, but I think even if he was in the Championship, it would have happened, because Poland are not as strong as England. You know, the last 2 tournaments they've really underwhelmed, getting to the group stages and failing quite badly really. And you look at their right back options, the only real right back option that I can think of off the top of my head is Lucas Piszczek. And he doesn't even play for Poland anymore. So he's essentially going to be their main right back now. Whereas you look at England, the amount of right backs that we have that could play for England are probably more points than Derby would get the whole of this season. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Kyle Walker, Kieran Trippier, Reece James, you know, the list goes on. Alman Bissaka as well. He's not even played for England before, but there's so many players that are ahead of Cash. And honestly, I think in time Cash would have got that call up, and I would have loved to have seen him play for England. But of course, he chose Poland. Now, the reason why he can play for Poland is because his mother is from Poland. So it's not like he's just picked, you know, one of his long lost granddads or something, and he can now play for Poland. It's actually a very, very reasonable reason why he can. But according to Cash himself, he can't speak any Polish, so his Twitter is a bit of a lie. He's clearly using just Google Translate to do all those tweets, and he's never been to Poland, or at least until this current international break, where he did of course make his debut for Poland in a 4-1 victory away at Andorra. And it'll be at home to Hungary on the 15th of November that Cash will make his home debut in the Polish national team. Also worth pointing out that Poland manager Paulo Sousa and also Poland president, bear with me, Andrzej Duda, I really hope I said that right. It sounds like I have. If I haven't, please don't hurt me. Thank you. Both of those were very encouraged and excited to see Cash play for Poland and were encouraged for his citizenship to be granted, and this would end up being the case, of course. So that really, as of November 2021, is the story of Matty Cash. Of course, there's still a long way to go in his career. He's still a young player, still a player that I believe is going to get even better, and maybe he will play for an even bigger club than Aston Villa. And yeah, I generally am so happy to see him doing this well. There's not like some players where the likes of Britta Sombolonga, he just leaves to another championship club, not really an upgrade at all, and now he's just in Turkey somewhere. You know, that kind of player really annoys me when they leave the club, especially when they're one of our best players. But you look at the likes of Cash and Antonio and Lascelles, they've bettered their career. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what Cash is going to do. Poland aren't guaranteed to be in the World Cup. They've got to win their playoff to get there, of course. But if Cash plays at a World Cup, that'll be a very, very proud moment for every Forest fan. Like, that'll be incredible. If you have enjoyed this video, please, of course, drop a like on it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Follow my Twitter. Follow my Instagram. And I'll see you very soon. Hopefully, I'll try and do another video between now and the weekend, which will be against Reading for Forest. Unfortunately, I can't watch that one because the rule of thumb for Forest vlogs and content is if it's an away day on a Saturday at 3 o'clock, can't watch that one live, unfortunately, because I don't get to go to away games and they're not televised, those kind of away days. So yeah, a little bit annoying, so I'll just do a little reaction. Thanks for watching. See you very soon.